Today, I take you on a full fish room tour of all 11 tanks, so stick around and check it out. Hey YouTube, this is Tom at TM Aquatics. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. It is Monday, and I thought I would just put together a quick video and take you on an all-tank tour, show you what's going on in each of my, what do I have, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tanks. 11 tanks. Show you what's going on in each of the 11 tanks, some of the plans moving forward, and some of the changes I've made. We'll start out with the 75-gallon planted endlers tank here, and this thing's become quite a mess. You can see my dwarf sag has gotten really tall. It's not so dwarf anymore, so I'm going to actually, I think, start removing some of this stuff and maybe reconsider a different type of foreground plant here, because this is not the foreground plant that I was expecting. One thing that I've done is I've taken all the pieces of bucephalandra that I have attached to the black lava rock. I had a bunch of it on the front of the glass, and it was sitting right directly underneath one of these Phoenix Ray 2 high lights. And was just getting too much light, and since I've moved all the boost over to the side so it's not directly underneath the light, it's been doing a lot better. All these pieces of boost are doing fantastic. They're all rooting into that black lava rock. New growth coming out like crazy, so this stuff's doing real good. I'm still fighting a little bit of hair algae in this tank, as you can see. The tank wasn't dialed in. The plants are starting to look real good, but the hair algae is still kind of being a nuisance, although it's not as prevalent as it was. I still have a bunch down here in this mini Pellia. I have a bunch down here in this Physidens map. Those are toast. There's no recovering on those. So, but as far as the rest of the hair algae in the tank, it's starting to look a lot better. I've cut back on my lights. I've gotten to a little more of a regimented fertilizing dosing schedule. I wasn't really keeping track of my dosing in the past, and was just putting in here and there, and now I'm watching it a little bit closer, and the tank's starting to get a little more dialed in. But I'll have to clean up this foreground again, think about a different foreground plant, maybe some dwarf pygmy chainsword, maybe glosso, I don't know, we'll figure that out. But otherwise, the tank's doing pretty good. Enough on that. Let's jump over to the 120. All right, not much really going on over here with the 120. I'm still waiting for one of my primary lights to come on for the day. Just don't know what to say about this tank. It's not my favorite. There's no scape to speak of. A log and a pile of rocks. Wow. But these Severums won't allow anything green to survive in this tank, which is unfortunate. I do like these red streak Severums. They're kind of cool. They're getting pretty big. They're probably 6 inches now, at least. You know, the big males are anyways. And, you know, I'm going to have to do something different with this tank eventually. I know I'm going to have to reduce the number of big Severums in here eventually. I have 4 electric blue Acars. There's a group of 3 males. And then I have a female over here that knocked herself silly, and she can't see a dang thing. She is blind as a bat. She gets food by picking at the gravel when I feed, and she does manage to get some. But as far as this tank moving forward, I just don't know what direction I want to take it. I've had a lot of people suggest that I go back into discus. If you look back when I first opened up my YouTube channel 3-4 years ago, and I was a lot more active on YouTube, most of my subscribers came back then. I kept this tank. I kept discus in it. It was a beautiful discus tank, and but it was a lot of work, straight up. It was a lot of work. The discus required a lot of attention and a lot of maintenance, and I kind of got burned out by them. And but things have changed. This tank now has an automatic water change system on it, so I could change 100% daily and not touch a drop, so it'd be a lot easier for discus. I could keep live plants in there, which, you know, I would like, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't plan to make any changes to this in the near future. And when I say near future, I'm talking at least through the next 3 or 4 months. Maybe come this fall, after summer, I might start thinking a little more serious about making some changes to this tank. But for right now, the Severums are happy. The clown loaches are getting big. The Denison barbs, or you know, they're looking pretty good. They're happy. And The Acars are happy. I've got a group of 7 wild-caught Agassizii cories in here. I've got 3 Plecos. I've got a gold nugget, slowest growing Pleco I've ever seen. There's my gold nugget. I've got a blue-eyed ancestress male that's down underneath that driftwood. And then I have an L124 orange flame para. And that has burrowed itself underneath the rock pile in here. But anyways, yeah, I know I've talked about getting rid of the denison barbs or roseline sharks in the past, but just haven't had time to do that. And yeah, enough on this tank. We'll figure out what the future is for this tank at another date. So let's head back into the fish room. All right, so back here in the fish room, the other rack has been completed as I've shown in previous videos. This is my Pleco rack. I've got a 33 long on top, 55 gallon in the middle, and a 40 long on the bottom. And these, the primary fish in each one of these are Plecos. Down here on the bottom, these are L333 King Tiger Plecos. And we'll see if we can't, there's one of them out right there. I've got a total of 7 in here. That one is a beautiful, beautiful King Tiger Pleco. They're pretty small. They're probably 2 1/4 to 2.5 inches, all of them. But you can see there's 2 of them underneath that sponge filter, and that one there is just a beautiful fish. I don't care if you like Plecos or not. That is a beautiful, beautiful fish. I know there's one that lives underneath that brown log or brown Pleco cave in between the other 2. There's another one with its tail hanging out of the triangle cave. There's another one hanging underneath the driftwood there. But there's a total of 7. Now, as far as other fish in this tank, Plecos feel comfortable when there's little fish swimming above their head. So I like to keep dither fish with all of my Plecos. And for these guys, I decided to throw my full red albino guppies in here. And I was going to get rid of this colony, but I figured since I already owned them, I just will keep them and use them. Now, it's not the best water parameters for guppies. This water's a little more on the softer side, and they like a little hardness to their water, but they're doing good, you know. They're doing good, and you know, there's even some baby guppies in here. One of the females dropped fry the other day, so but there's 3 males and there's 8 females in there, and yeah, enough on that. So as far as scaping, I don't scape Pleco tanks really. I just put in what the Plecos need, and in every Pleco tank, what I like are Pleco Caves. Now, these guys don't particularly eat wood like some of the Plecos, like the Panicolas, but I do like to put a piece of driftwood in each of my Pleco tanks, and I do like to put a little greenery in there, just for aesthetics more than anything. And I've got a little bit of dwarf or a narrow leaf Java fern. I'm still fighting this, trying to grow that back. That got devastated by the Severums. I have some guppy grass floating in this tank, and yeah, that's about it. So moving up, this is my 55 gallon L134 leopard frog tank. There's one of the froggies hanging out right there. I have a total of 8 in this tank. There's tail hanging out there, a couple tails right there, and 5 of them are adults, 3 of them are juveniles. That, believe it or not, is one of my juveniles, but my juvies are almost adult size. But as far as breeding activity, nothing to report, nothing new. Little bit of narrowleaf Java fern in this tank, and Anubias, a little bit of algae, and you know, that's about it. So as far as dither fish, these are Praecox rainbow, dwarf neon rainbows, and they're a fun little fish. They're real pretty fish in the morning especially, but real aggressive eater, but they're working out really well. I have 17 in this tank, and yeah, it's enough on this tank. Let's move up above to the 33 long, and this is my newest addition. Again, as far as scaping, there really is no scape in my Pleco tanks. There's Pleco Caves. There's a little bit of bulbitis I had attached to a piece of wood. Same thing over here. I've got a couple of scud endlers in here, and those are just hybrid endlers that got introduced to some guppy. Nothing special. Sand bottom, a little bit of pebble and gravel in there, catappa leaf. But I picked up recently the holy grail of my Plecos. I picked up 3 L46 Zebra Plecos. And these guys are just little buggers. They're only about 1.5 inches, and they're doing really good. They're eating and active. I've had them for a little over a week now, and I will eventually add more. There's the third one in there. For some reason, they've been hiding out underneath this sponge filter. I was hoping, I'll probably put in more rocks or some rock structure here, but I was hoping to pick up some over the weekend. There was some became available at a site, but they were just a little too much for the size of zebras that they were. So I am on a waiting list with a couple of different sources, and I will be picking up or adding at least 5 more to this group, and hopefully probably up to 7. I want at least 8, and if not 10. And so I am actively looking. If you know anybody that's actively selling, please reach out to me and let me know. But these little L46 zebras, beautiful little fish, and yeah, I'm really going to enjoy growing these out and hopefully someday breeding these little buggers. So let's go take a look at the other rack. All right, so this is the fish and shrimp rack over here. I've got 2 20 longs on the top, followed by a 20 high and a 40 breeder on the other 2 shelves. Up here on the top right, 20 long, these are my golden-backed yellow neocaradinas. They're doing really good. I've got a bunch of babies in there, and I did have quite a few more babies at one point in here. I probably had 150 babies or so, and I noticed I wasn't getting the success rate of the babies. So one thing I've done, I know a lot of people use Bacter AE. Sorry, the glass is a little bit dirty there. I just haven't been cleaning it for the little baby shrimplets. Want them to eat and munch on that. But I ordered some Bacter AE, and I'm hoping that I have a little higher success rate with the baby shrimp. But I still have probably 75 to 80 shrimp in here, which I'm real happy about. I mean, there's just shrimp everywhere I look in here. There's shrimp. And real happy and real pleased with this tank. So hopefully that Bacter AE will help out in future fry drops or shrimplet drops. But anyways, enough on that tank. Everything's doing really good. Over here, this is supposed to be full of shrimp by now, and it's not. I've got 3 super red bushy nose in here and a bunch of fry. These are my full red albino guppy fry in here, some of them. And, well, all of the fry are full red albino guppies. But I want to put some tiger endlers, or not tiger endlers, tangerine tiger shrimp in here. And I know it's not an active substrate, but I know tangerine tigers can handle water that's a little closer to neos. And I found somebody that has a ton of tangerine tigers, and she keeps them in water that's identical in parameters to this tank right here. So I'm going to get some tangerine tigers from her, and I hope to do that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, because I'm getting tired of having shrimp tanks with no shrimp, and hopefully those tangerine tigers do well in this tank. So anyways, and then I can move those guppies over into the 40 long with the adult full red guppies. This here is for Bloody Mary shrimp, and again, I'm getting tired of not having shrimp in my shrimp tank, so I'm still looking for high quality Bloody Marys at a reasonable price, and I'm still not having too much success finding them. So I might just have to bite the bullet and overpay a little bit to get high quality Bloody Marys. But I want to have Bloody Marys in this tank as well within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Down below, my Blue Dreams, they're doing really good. You know, I'm not a real experienced shrimp keeper, and one thing I've noticed with my Blue Dreams is a lot of them have a lot of light color on them, if you can see those. Like that one in the back, I mean, it's like a light blue. But a lot of them have lost like all the dark blue coloring. So I'm not sure why. You know, I feed Shrimp King and Borneo Wild Foods. They get mulberry leaves, catappa leaves, and the water parameters are real good for blue neos, or for neos. And you can see that one's completely dark blue. So I don't know why some of them have lost virtually all their blue pigmentation, and others like this one stay, you know, almost completely dark blue. So for you shrimp people out there, if you can give me an idea on why these guys might be lighter in color, that would be great. I don't believe that they're stressed. I just don't know why they're losing color like that. But I might buy some more Blue Dreams to add to that colony. Maybe maybe a Blue Dream line that breeds a little more pure. I don't know. We'll see. But otherwise, they're doing good. I know I've got a couple of buried females in there and such. So This 40 breeder down here, I've got 5 green neons in there, some rummy nose tetras, strigosize. I've got a L260 wild-caught queen arabesque that you can't see, a couple of blue-eyed ancestris like that, a couple babies. And then I have a young, let's see, right there, that L14 Sunshine Pleco. It's about 3.5 inches long. It's a wild caught. That will get about, I don't know, 10 inches, give or take. But this thing has grown about an inch since I got it. It's a beautiful Pleco. Again, an L14 Sunshine Pleco. Picked that up from Freshwater Exotics in Franklin, Wisconsin. But, you know, this tank here, once that Sunshine Pleco gets a little bit bigger, about 5 inches or so, it's going to move out to the 120-gallon tank. And I really want to use this tank to house a group of wild-caught L260 Queen Arabesque Plecos. I'm just waiting to for my source to get more L260s. I'm on their waiting list, and I think the L260s will do fabulous in this tank. So anyways, that's the plan for that tank. And then up here, finally, my 40 breeder with my gold ocellatus. I did have a pair spawn in this shell right now. I know there's eggs in there right now. That's the female. That's the male right there. I did have a baby in here a couple weeks ago. I saw a free swimming baby, made its way out of a shell and got quickly munched up by another one, by an adult. This is my first time with shell dwellers. I've never kept gold ocellatus before, so I'm curious if anybody has any history and experience with gold ocellatus. Is this a recipe for success or not? Am I better off to take a pair out and put them in like a 20 long? Or, you know, can I just leave them the way it is? Again, I don't have a lot of experience with these guys, so I am open for advice and suggestions on this. But please, only if you have personal experience with gold ocellatus. These are not like multifasciatus and some of the other shell dwellers. These guys are a lot more aggressive. But yeah, if you have had success keeping them in a tank like this, in a group, in a colony setting, let me know that. I definitely appreciate any feedback. So, but anyways, really enjoy these guys. A lot of personality on these guys. Always fighting, always bickering. And yeah, they're just always doing something that makes you want to watch them. But anyways, I'm going to wrap up the video there. It's gotten a little bit longer than I was hoping, but that is the shrimp and Pleco rack. And one thing I am doing, I am painting some boards over here, and I'm going to put some boards on hinges to block out a lot of the reflection and a lot of the light that's escaping, and that'll make future videos a lot less washed out. I'll get a lot less reflection and glare, and I think it'll make this area a lot more conducive to shooting videos in the future. So I've got a board I'm going to put up here, one here, and I'll do the same over on this rack and get rid of a lot of that light glare up there. It'll just make it a lot easier to film and video back here. But anyways, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Appreciate everybody watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Hit the like button on your way out. Any comments, questions down below. Let me know your thoughts about keeping discus in the 120. Let me know your thoughts about these gold ocellatus, if and only if you have personal experience. And then also, you shrimp keepers, let me know why my blue dreams might be getting so washed out. They're more like gray dreams now. So anyways, appreciate everybody watching again. And until the very next one, folks, we'll catch you later.